you want to look. But. All right, so the first thing we'll do is take Kylie's fun things point layer, which she GPS'd with Fulcrum. So just so we can see them. These are them. And look at the table. So we have a few different things. We have a couple of the same things, so we can symbolize those the same. And we'll come up with symbols for those. So the first thing we do is go to the Symbology tab and get a unique symbol for each of those different types of things. So categories, description, add them all. You notice they come in as really small dots. If you change, there's two ways to change that. If you go to this top one next to add all values, you can up that, and then you can hit add all values again, and they'll all be big that time. Or you can right click and say properties for all symbols and do the same thing, and they'll all change. You can also select a few of them and say properties for selected symbols, and it would do the same thing. Okay, so now we have just some points around campus. So let's see. Some of these are going to be easier to make a symbol for than others, but I'll just show you kind of the general way that I would look for symbols. So for a compass, I just double clicked on the dot, and then in the symbol selector you go to edit symbol, and in here you'll notice there's this little drop down here. If you go to character marker symbol instead of simple, you can pick any font that's on the computer. So that includes, like, when you pick Arial font or like Times New Roman, those are in here. Just to mention that, so Arial, and you get all the letters that are contained within that, which is always surprisingly more than you would expect. But what Esri does when you install ArcMap on your computer is they put all these Esri fonts, which are just things you can use as symbols for the map. So sometimes I will just click on the first one, and if I'm looking for a compass, I can just hit down and look, kind of flip through and see what might catch my eye. Oh, there's actually a north arrow font that we could use. So there's a compass. Does that work for you, Kylie? Oh, well, then I guess it works for you. This is good. Okay, we'll do one without a letters on it. Then you can change the size up here. Okay, let's see how that looks. So if we go to the attribute table and we just want to look at the compass, you can double click on this little nub, and we'll zoom in there. So one thing I might do now, you notice that everything got really small when I zoomed in. One thing we can do is set a reference scale, it's called, which it will be, everything will stay the same size, no matter where you zoom in or out. And this is kind of like telling it what size you want. So if we like this, maybe this one. So you get, first thing is you get to a zoom you kind of like, where the labels look okay and everything looks how you might like it. And then you look up here and you say, all right, well, that's 4,000. That is the scale, 1 to 4,000. So it's one map unit to 4,000 feet, like one inch to 4,000 inches on the map is what that means. And you'd go into reference scale, and you can just type in 4,000. Under, I did the data frame properties and then general. Okay, so now you notice if I zoom in on that compass again, everything's pretty big. So maybe I'll make it a little smaller. Do 1,000. All right, that actually looks pretty good. But you can imagine once we get our map, we might want to set that. But for doing the symbols, we'll do it like this. So anyway, we have our compass. Let's do one fire pit. I think I know that there is a fire pit. So again, character marker symbol. I think there's a camping one. What was it? Caves, maybe? A lot of good stuff in here. I think there's like outdoors. Fire incident. I might have one. Nope. But this is generally how I look for things like that. Forestry. Oh, here we go. It's got to be a little fire pit symbol.
Bottom left.
Yep, nice. Beautiful. And then whenever I find a good one, I always do save as. And then I give it a name. And then it will be in your list forever. So you could pick it again. All right, let's see. Grills. I like that forestry might have another one for grills. Oh, which one was I looking at? It was down here. Oh, here we go. Could do picnic tables. Let's see. Yeah, maybe just picnic table. You think that's good enough? Even though there's grills there. Yeah, I think these are gonna look good. If we can find one of these type of symbols for each one of them, that would be pretty neat, actually. Gazebo. Do a little horse. Like that. Hammock trees. What's it? Oh, is it a hammock in a tree?
No, they're just good trees.
Oh, nice. Huh. Nice. All right, so we're gonna symbolize them as if they had hammocks. You wanna do a bed? So one thing you can do with these symbols, like so that you notice that this compass is see-through, right? So you can like see things through it. Here, I'll show you. So you can see the road behind it. That doesn't look very good. So a lot of times you want to edit your symbol in a more complex way. So they have this window down here on the left where you can pile symbols on top of each other, basically, and make your own. So if you hit this little plus, you get a new one. And then these are your controls. You can put it below that one, and then you can pick the circle, and then I was thinking if we just put a white circle behind it to block out the background. And then it won't see through. So it's more of a So that's actually kind of powerful. I use that a lot. Um, if you really wanted to make a hammock, you could actually pull in like kind of maybe a boat shape and then put like little lines on the end of it and then actually build it in there. But it takes a little bit of kind of OCD energy. It's good. It's good. Just some other tools in there. You can zoom in on your symbol so you can really get detailed on it. You can do offsets, so if you need to add like one of those, like you have a line, you want to move it to the left, you can just shift it over. And then again, when you're finished, always save it. Because if you get out of here and you lose your ArcMap document, it's gone. So now it's in my list. You can also share these things. So if you go to Customize and Style Manager, it'll have on your computer everything that you've saved. So for our map, these are all the ones I've just kind of saved. They don't have names because a lot of times I just save the symbol because they don't have a name. But line symbols, all the points, and here are the two we just made. Text. So.
Are those the in white right there? Are those the trails?
Those are the pathways that Garrett did.
Oh, okay. I can go back and change mine to polygons like that.
Oh, actually, so I did that.
Okay.
I think they are lines.
Are they?
So the way we did that was the same as the roads, so pathways north. I just have this. It's actually a good point. It's the same way we did the things on top of each other for a symbol. The best way to do a road is to put a white or a lighter color on top of a darker color, and so it makes this little edge, like a casing on a line. It looks real crisp if you actually have an edge on it. The other things to do are you can mess with these are the caps on the line, which will it'll end in a square, like or it'll end in a circle. And then the key to that though is more confusing, or just an added thing. So the key is if you go to advanced under symbology for this line, you do symbol levels. You check this on. So let's look at if I had it off. You see all these cuts in the line? That doesn't look good. So ArcMap knows how to merge those all together. And the way you do it is just to turn that on. Which is not, again, the terminology used does not tell you exactly what it's going to do, but that's just one of those things that you learn, and it's like just the best way to symbolize a line. I guess I'll mention, a lot of times I just go to Google Maps to get ideas because they have the most beautiful maps, in my opinion. Their labeling is incredible. Their lines, you can see their lines are great. You see that nice edge on that line? It's like perfect, and it's like dynamic. And then to get ideas for colors, even they've put a ton of thought into this, like how a color is going to look on the computer. So sometimes I'll actually take you can get little tools that'll pull a color right off the screen, and then you can go into ArcMap. So let's try to do that. You can do like a color picker. And actually, I think I have one up here. Or I'm going to type in get RGB value from screen. So RGB is red, green, blue, right? Then the red, green, blue combined together make all the colors. So you just set those three, and it will. Oh, I know what I do. Of course, I use PowerPoint. So just take a picture of this. Paste it in. Oh, I think I don't have that tool anymore. All right, well, come back to it. That's a way to get colors off of the screen, but I'll come back to that once I download something and maybe send out a good program to use, just because I don't have one on my computer right now. So anyway, back to the map, right? So now we have a few symbols. I would think these other ones we'd want to make unique in some way. So I can hold Control and select the other symbols. And I can right-click and say Properties for selected symbols. And let's just make them big. And then if you go to Edit Symbol, you can maybe we'll make them squares. And then we can make them have a funky outline just so they're discernible from everything else. So then they all got the same color, but we can go in here. I tend to like the second row of colors better than others, just because they're softer. One of the things you want to do is not use super bright colors, because then when somebody looks at the map, they're only going to see that one thing. So it's kind of an art just figuring out what muted colors you want to use. Oh, that's a little much. All right, so you notice I backed up a lot and everything's still pretty small because I set that reference scale before. We'll still mess with that, but for when we're doing editing, it's probably going to be a little easier. So when we go in, it'll all stay the same size. So the next thing I wanted to show you was how to label these guys. So if you go to the properties, the way I make maps is generally between Symbology tab and Labels tab. Those are going to set how everything looks in your map. So first you can just label them, check the box. If you set labels and they're not showing up, it's always because you just didn't check the box. Then of course you can pick which field you want. And of course we want a description. And you can see these labels I've already done have like a light inside and a dark outside. The way you do that is to go into Edit Symbol. So we're 3 menus deep at this point. And you can say Mask, and you can add a halo. The halos that look the nicest are actually the inverse of what they suggest, which is make it a little bit smaller, which is make the inside of the word lighter and the outside darker. So the fill for the halo is going to be dark, and then if you go OK, and then you can change the actual text color here, and so then it's got this kind of cool effect. Then you can just up the size, and again save these because it takes a second to build them. So I just always save one when I make a new one, even if I don't like it. Might want it for something else down the road. There you go. So that'll look real crisp on a printed map too. A lot of times, you see how it's kind of choppy on there? Like I look at it and I think that's going to look great printed, but you don't get that knowledge until you've printed a million different maps and you just know that. One way to actually see how nice that's going to look is if we send it to a PDF. You can always see a little bit more crisply what it's going to look like. So let's go to our layout view and switch over to that. And I'm going to stop this so we can